Long day lay me low. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. It's another day of another Sunday, another where we sometimes do get to know your creator. We are bound to get these determined to get these books and these campaigns funded, and we'll talk about the stuff later. Our guest is the second guest. Edwin Acevedo was our second guest, but in the meantime, we have our 15th co-host, Angela Curry. What's going on?
15th co-host.
Well, it's your 15th show, maybe. I don't know.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah. You're the second co-host, but not second in our hearts. Piper was the first.
Yes, always love
we
Piper.
still love Piper. She's amazing. Yes. Everybody go follow Adventures of Piper on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have a great guests. I should pluralize it because we might have the second guest coming in. But like I said, this is the second person to be a second guest on our show. We usually don't have too many repeats because we showcase campaigns and I like to get new books out there. Yeah, Ace was the first one. Edwin Acevedo, he Blood.
Yeah.
And so he asked me to come on. I was like, sure, dude. I like Ace, and he's a good dude, and he's great stuff. So, but we have the man with the plan, the only Doc Holliday substitute you should ever accept.
Right on. Hey, Odin.
Yeah. I'm your Huckleberry.
That's right.
Hey.
How y'all doing? Last time I was here, though, it was Piper. So this is cool.
I was gonna say.
There you go. You get to meet the new. Yeah.
You're my first.
The new 15th time co-host. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That checks out. Yeah, you were one of the earlier guests that I had on.
Yeah, it was a great time, dude.
Thanks, man. The first one was actually the campaign Rocket with Aldous and Steve Dye. That was the very, very first one I did.
That was your first show?
Well, all this, the reason why I'm kind of doing these anyway, I don't do really chat well enough to do them. And people are usually pretty lenient. They're acceptable. They're like, yeah, I get it. But Aldous hit me up, and he's the editor for Frog G, one of the editors for Frog G, and I don't want to tell my editor no. So, you can't come on, dude.
He might purposely screw up your book.
Yeah, he might go through it with a more fine.
I don't think Aldous would do that, but
no,
Aldous is a good dude. Past it.
I wouldn't either, dude. I wouldn't either.
Aldous is a good dude, but he's got a kind of a trick prankster in him a little bit.
He is a little bit of a jokester. He's very sarcastic and dry in it. So if you don't,
I love it.
Yeah, I like it. I like dry.
Yeah, I dig Aldous for that reason.
But he was my first, and then I think you were like third or fourth or something in there for Unconditional Shove. So that was fun. We had Piper on for that, and she did a great job. We love Piper, but time schedules were conflicting. She couldn't always make it, and so I was just Angela has always been in chats everywhere, and I asked her one day, I'm like, hey, do you want to? Piper, what happened was Piper got laid up. She had surgery and stuff. She couldn't do this.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I hit up Angela, because she's always in chats. So I'm like, oh, cool. Somebody who does drop
surgery.
Yeah, and you weren't having surgery at the time, so
not yet.
Anyway,
not yet. You never know. I mean, hopefully,
if
it is surgery,
you don't know what the future holds.
You don't know what
that's true. We got a whole year.
According to Noah, Angela's like what, 20?
Anyway, between 20 and 40.
Anywhere but. I say that's a broad range.
Oh, I thought that was me. That's you.
Aww. No, dude, this happened. Dude, this happened last night. I was streaming, and everybody would freeze up but me, and then everybody would come back after 3 or 4 seconds, and it would try to catch up. And so if it happens, just try to carry on the conversation as if I never was here.
Yeah. Not look so stupid, like, what the hell is going on? Because that's probably what I did. Oh, and I'm doing it again.
The masses. By the way, if you're here, hit that like and subscribe button and check Odin's Twitter out. So
it's like you have hiccups, Jason.
They're like digital hiccups.
Don't get the hiccups and don't hiccup in the chat.
Anyway, well, this will work. And you have weather there too, so it might be making this. It might be impacting the stream.
Yeah, are you getting a storm on?
It is raining here, but this just did it last night too. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
highlight the chat, Angela. Let's do
highlight. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah,
So we got
people here, I'm sure.
Paul Deere is in the house. Hail.
What's up, Paul there?
Hey,
Michael Desjardins. I'm assuming it's Francais. So we'll say that.
What's up, Michael? Well, it's good to see him. I don't
Michael.
think we've seen him around
Fancy.
before.
We got Mr. Jim Cox in the house.
Hail, Jim Cox.
Cox, good to see
And
you.
we got some Jolly Green here. Hail,
Jolly
Jolly Green.
Green.
And some duck bacon to go with your green beans.
Yeah.
So, hail
Hail.
duck bacon. My favorite bacon. So, yeah. Anyway.
Nice. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button. Check Odin's Twitter out
And if
down
my
below.
roommate's listening, hi.
Hi, roommate.
Alice.
Hi,
I don't know
roommate.
if she
Yeah.
is. She might be.
Hi,
leaving
roommate.
later.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So,
All right.
yeah. So last time you were on was for the shove. Are you working
Yeah,
on two
unconditional
right now,
shove.
or
I am working on 2, which is going awesome. But recently, some things came up to where I have to work on something else just as much. So my plate is extremely full with basically 2 books. So not the worst thing in the world.
no?
What is the other book?
The other book is Kill Them Dead. And
That's
yeah.
still in the running. Okay, good.
yes, so we can get right down to business
Yeah,
if
let's
you
get
want.
into
The
let's get to
campaign.
brass tacks.
Yeah,
usually we're
right
here
down to
to
it.
showcase a book. I didn't know Kill 'Em
Right.
Dead actually ended. So, but let's talk about that. What happened?
Yeah,
give us
that was a
the
shocker
Yeah, so-
for me.
Well, the campaign ended Friday, I believe, a couple days ago anyway. And we had a flexible funding goal. We didn't hit it, and we actually didn't get very close. And so rather than continue it on, we decided we're going to refund and go back to the drawing board. Now, not that the idea of Kill Them Dead is dead. It's not killed dead. It's alive. It's just we had to rethink our approach because with the type of book we were making, it was going to be very expensive, and we needed more funds. And I didn't want to sit there. We could have sat there with people's money and used that money to start moving it forward, but it's going to take a long time, especially because we didn't have enough funds.
Wow.
The more funds we had, the faster it would go. So,
Right.
so we just decided to go back to the drawing board. We're probably going to launch on Kickstarter next time. Next year, early next year sometime. So
What about
Now-
Fund My Comic? What about with that in the future?
well, Fund My Comic was also a thing. We always planned to do all 3.
Okay, cool.
Just because why not, and we knew it was going to be a long process, but we didn't want the people who backed initially, like really the hardcore people who love what we're doing, to just sit on their money for however long it takes, because it could be a long process. Because really, one of the biggest holdups is funds, and then one of the other bigger holdups was Skunk Artworks, who will hopefully be joining us in a little bit. He was hand painting all of the pages, but we were having them penciled, the layouts and pencils done by first it was an artist, Dimitri, who also works on a book called Avalon, real talented artist. And he had to back out because he really wanted to focus on his other book, which was fine. And so we got Samir Sameo to do the pencils. And he had done Magnificent Bastards for James, and really talented artist, but he was really not getting us pages in a timely manner. And so we were just kind of behind the 8 ball, wanting to get going with things and not getting much progress. So that is the book that I'm now doing the layouts, the pencils and layouts. So
Oh wow.
that's why I'm doing that and Shove. But that puts the ball in our court in-house to where, I'm way more invested in this than a hired penciler who might take a little more time, So,
Right.
So I'm already starting on pencil layouts, which is a lot of fun because I'm not typically as big on pencils. I think Jason knows knows what I'm talking about. I like going straight to ink.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could do that. That's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I put in rough pencils just to get an idea of shape.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
you're
you
not-
have to have some kind of layout of there,
Oh,
like
okay.
with comics
Yeah.
anyway. If it's a free, like you could do free flow pieces, but comic work, you need a layout of some kind. That's
So
like
you're
you
not
said,
a tracer. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I'm not a tracer. No. I mean, I'll trace myself.
No. Just
Well, like you've seen Ethan's stuff. Ethan does like the blue line layout, and then he'll just ink.
Right.
So it's no different. Yo, what's up, Snuggy? It's
What's
no
up,
different
Snuggy?
than doing a loose pencil layout and then inking. That's what I do. You
Right.
know, I work like ODIN Works. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to do straight up pencils, knowing that Skunk is going to do all the finishing work. He'll do the ink and painting because he does it all collaboratively as one big part of the process. But knowing that I got to hand it off to someone else to finish is a real weird thing. You know, before I was doing all the inking myself, and it's like I get the gist of it. It doesn't have to look exactly what it's going to look like in the final product. But giving it to Skunk, I'm like, oh, I got to make sure he knows what I'm trying to portray here. So,
Oh, that's true.
so yeah, it's a whole new thing.
Well, that's why I tell people, like, if you want me to ink something, for one, I'm probably going to hijack it. So make it.
Yeah.
Ink layout stuff.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm
Sorry.
but
Uh,
yeah,
these
I like
hiccups.
it loose. But there are plenty of people. There are plenty of people who just who pencil tight, and then they'll just go in like Photoshop and just darken it because there's no point in re-inking your work.
Right. Well, and I imagine once we work together a little bit, we'll get it down to a little system. You know, like right now I'm inking or penciling really tight because I'm like, I don't want anything lost in translation. But
Cool.
you know, I have a good relationship with Skunk. Sebastian is his real name. So,
His name is Skunk.
You know,
lie to me.
well, you know, he's affectionately known as Skunk.
I mean, who would say when their child is born? What would you name your child? Oh, Skunk. I mean,
His last name is Artworks.
His last name is Artworks. His first name is Skunk.
Yeah.
and your last name is
Initial H.
like Jason, or
Yeah, that's right.
Unhinged.
That's right.
And
Yeah, but see, my name is actually displayed though. So
For the longest time, I
Yeah.
thought Ent meant like Ent, like from Lord of the Rings, and so I thought, oh, I love the Ents, and he's like, no, entertainment. I was like,
as the unhinged Ant.
yeah, they're
This is
crazy
the one up
trees.
in the corner, just like fucking
did
shit up.
they? I mean, you got
trees
that
that have
beard.
gone mad. Yeah.
Yeah, the unhinged one.
Right.
Now, you think maybe also because we are in tough times, the economy hit, it's terrible. Plus, you got Christmas season. Do you think maybe those played a factor into the campaign as well?
Oh, for sure. I mean, there was a lot of factors. It was a real ambitious thing. We didn't want to shortchange the project.
Kind of tell people like you guys had a bombastic idea. Tell people like kind of the concept of it. You know?
Yeah. I guess that's actually like getting down to brass tacks. It's like what was Kill Them Dead or what is Kill Them Dead going to be still?
Right.
Is so it was 80 pages of art, 160 pages total. So it was more of a picture book style. So it would be prose with image representing the prose. So it wasn't technically a comic book. It was more picture book, whereas the image represents all of the prose that you just read. So that was the book, and then also the coloring was done in such a way that we could print it UV reactive, so it would glow in black light, because we thought that would be really cool to have just like these crazy, wild, clashing black light colors for this story. I don't know, we just had all these ideas that were like, let's make it as big and crazy as possible, because the story itself was really wild. It's a story of basically a lost soul, just a random lost soul within the underworld, as if driven by fate, just starts taking on a course to take down the leaders, the rulers of the underworld, which are like gods across different religions and different cultures that are represented in the underworld. So we had like Anubis, we had Hell, we had Hades. And so that was the thing, like taking down these gods, and we wrote it in a way that's kind of like a leveling up boss fight in a video game, to where the intensity gets more and more as it goes along. And then we wanted it to be blacklight because that would be just insane.
Yeah.
And then we had the crazy idea of accompanying that with an album that is actually a rock opera that basically tells the whole story within the music.
So
And
would
we
there
decided
be
to go
like dialogue
power
in the
metal.
comic?
There would be, well, it'd be quotation marks in the prose. It wouldn't be word balloons on the page.
Oh, okay.
So there would be writing, and that, like I said, a picture book more than a comic book.
Right.
So that's one thing. It was more picture book than comic book. It had this accompanying album of music, or 2 albums actually, 80 minutes of power metal, which I was singing on, which is a lot of
did
fun.
a great job. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
lot of fun, and we got a really talented musician who wrote the score, basically. And I mean, we're still working on it, but he's written 5 songs now, and we just give him a little direction and say, come up with something cool. And he's so freaking talented, he comes up with something cool. So, and then I just
Nice.
laid vocals on top of it, and so that was another aspect. And we tried to combine that all together, and the vision was that's how the book's made to be read, is like with this accompanying album. So we promoted it that way. So all our tiers were kind of expensive, and as you mentioned, like with economy and stuff, so that was definitely a factor, not having a economy tier, basically.
And that's the thing, like your tiers were expensive. Like they really weren't,
Yeah.
all things considered. If you look at everything
Right.
you got, not only that, dude, campaigns where it was like they're asking $50 for a 48 pager. Like look at Andrew Tate,
Right.
he's asking $500. You know what I mean? Or something outlandish.
Right.
Like I mean, he's doing it as a joke or as a troll, but still. Like,
Well,
and I'm not bashing him, but Eric July, he charges like more for his, I think, like 35 or 40. So
right.
we normally charge less. So you guys were actually charging a pretty actually fair rate for everything you're getting in the concept that you guys had, because it's pretty out
It was
there.
as cheap as we could possibly make it.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like doing the blacklight reactive print was, that's a premium print, and that on top of like printing the albums, with the albums we're going to have picture disc album art as well. And we had an art contest, and those winners are still getting their vinyl printed when we finally
sweet.
get around to doing
Nice.
this. But yeah, so everything's like still there. It's just we wanted to go back to the drawing board, because we didn't whatever it was, like I said, it was a combination of a lot of factors. Just wanted to take another bite at the apple, and start over.
Right. And it also could be there are some things that are just ahead of their time, like, or just the people aren't ready for like that kind of a huge concept. Like look at Blade Runner.
Right.
Like it did not do well in theaters. It didn't. Look at it now. Everybody loves that movie. You know what I mean? So
Which one?
2024?
Blade Runner. No, the first one.
Blade Runner. Yes, that's
Don't
true.
insult me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, the first one.
People didn't get it. Like they just didn't get it.
Right.
And I know there's plenty of people who are still today who are like, yeah, it's a garbage movie. Those people are wrong.
Well-
But yeah, like I mean, that could be
2049,
it too.
excuse
Maybe
me.
people just were like they didn't fully grasp it because it's just too far ahead thinking, and so they're like, this isn't a regular comic or this isn't a regular record, and so they just didn't.
Yeah, and that's true. It's and there was a little bit of that, and I mean, we talked about it. So we had our backstage talks, as a company between James and Sebastian and myself. Like what do we have to do? What's the code we got to crack to like? Because I had another friend tell me, yeah, it's a matter of marketing or promotion is where the issue is, because your product is good. And he's like, I'm not just saying that because I'm your friend. I'm like, the product is good, and I know it's good. And so we're going, okay, so what is the code we're trying to crack? And there is that element of like people going like, what the hell is this even? And it is a bit wild. It's a bit different. And then to put like, even though it's as economical as we could make it, to put kind of like a more expensive price tag on it, it is a harder sell in that sense. But the people who got the vision were really excited about it. A lot of them are probably going to be disappointed when they get their refund. But rest assured, like I said, it's not dead. We're just going back to the drawing board to
It's just
you know,
a
take a
seed.
better stab at it.
And even still, you put up a like a campaign update, you know, saying, "Hey, we're gonna relaunch. You know, we know you refunded."
Yes.
You know, so
Right.
so yeah, and it's a killer team on the book. So that's not, you know, that's obviously not the issue. You got talent on there. So
Right. Yeah, I believe in what we're doing. So it's just a matter. It's also finding the audience. Um, you know, we do kind of,
Hey, Henry
and
Davis.
you know the game. Like we kind of deliver to the same core people, and it's like there's a whole world out there that a lot of us who are in this indie comic sphere that we operate in have not tapped into. And a lot of it for us with the album and everything is trying to find heavy metal culture that may not be as interested in comic books or these kind of things, but they would love the concept, and the music's good as well. So,
Well, I've come to find a lot of, like, quite a few. If they're not interested in maybe comics, they're still interested in art. A lot of metalheads, like, they like that, you know, crazy stuff and, you know, that out there styles and out there concepts and ideas. Like, I can't count how many, dude. You and I both love metal. I can't count how many. You know, mainly singers, I think, but a lot of the musicians out there, they collect comics. They actually do. You know,
Right.
I know Corey Taylor's a huge Spider-Man fan, and he's collected all that stuff. And Phil Anselmo was like he'd wear Punisher shirts and stuff. So there's a lot of fans. You know, we get Danzig writes comics, so it's like
yeah.
So metalheads, I think it's just that creative grind, like that they like that idea. So it's maybe that's
we know that
part of it.
Good imagery, like really gruesome, cool comic style imagery, is very well associated with heavy metal. I mean, I've bought several albums on artwork alone.
Artwork alone,
And
dude.
I know I'm not the only one.
Look at Preston and Metal Movies and Brewskis, Matt Burke. They have a channel where all they talk about it. All they do is album artwork. By the way, go subscribe to those two cats. Great people.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they did one on Dio. That was cool.
Yeah, they did one on Dio.
Yes.
They've done it. Dude, I'm waiting for him to do it on Man of War. That would be great, dude.
Yes, Kelly Jones' Man of War stuff was so badass.
Yeah,
so Man of War was a big inspiration musically for this project.
That's it shows. When I heard it, dude, I'm like, there's some Man of War in there, man.
Well, that was when Jacob Lizette, who has been writing the music, you know, he's like, just give me a direction, you know, share some examples of what you're looking for. And I would send him like a Man of War track, and he's like, "Oh, I got it," you know. So,
yeah, I mean, Man of War, they're fun. Everybody should go check. Like, if you people out there, you're not familiar, if you listen to Ethan, you know his intro, that song, that operatic metal, like they're kind of like that in a way. Like it's.
I just like the name.
Man of War.
Yeah,
they have fantastic album covers. Yeah. You know who has great album covers? Who's not a metalhead is Meatloaf. Like Bat Out of Hell, dude. That's when I saw that, I'm like, this album has to be so metal, like it's crazy. And then you
wasn't that Richard Corbin?
I think so.
Yeah, and then the Bat Out of Hell 2 was Michael Wayland, whatever his name is.
I'm not 100% on that.
He's the guy who did the Sepultura Rise cover.
There you go.
That weird crazy monster thing. Yeah.
I'm learning to do double Dutch. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I know a couple people had comments. 80s Maids. Hello, 80s Maid. None of you guys are born salesmen, and that's huge ask to something that's even more of a niche than indie comics.
That's true.
That's his comment. But I mean, yeah, it's part of the whole thing. And
knowing your weaknesses, like, you're a comic book creator.
And we may not be
a sales.
Oh no.
Like I can't sell, I can't sell like a, ketchup popsicle to an Eskimo, but you have to learn how to at least try to sell a couple of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, and I think you can learn that skill. I mean, it's just something, that you kind of pick up, or you find somebody like, for instance, you have Froggy Jason. He's kind of like a guy.
Physical media. So yeah.
Anyway, and then we have Smiling Politely in the chat. Hail. So you're relaunching. I'd suggest art in the campaign that introduces each character more sample comic pages. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's another reality is that we did want more of that stuff, and we thought we would get more, and it just kind of like bogged down. So now that I'm doing the art, we can have more of that. So
yeah,
what's up, good stuff?
Yeah, good stuff's in the house. Yeah.
Hey, good stuff. What's going on, man? I'm trying to see if I can move my router, just my dongle a little closer to the edge of the computer. Nudge out as much Wi-Fi as I can.
Put tinfoil on it.
Yeah.
And then Sagi's saying that he could sell bookmarks to comics readers. So
that's an absolute truth. I was one of those guys.
Well, I mean, yeah, I bought the campaign too. It's a great campaign.
Yeah, and another one is a coming. So,
well,
I saw that today.
Yeah. Fantastic salesman. But if you don't have the reach, you're not going to get the backers. You're not going to get the traffic.
Yeah.
Say that one more time because it cut you off like in the middle. Can you start over again? Sorry.
If you don't have, like, you could be a great salesman, but if you don't have the reach, you're not going to get a lot of sales, and it's hard to really, try to navigate that, and also try to branch out, especially if you only have like 2 people, 3 people doing it, or 1 person doing it. So, and what like. Get out there, even just saying like, hey, we're indie comics, we're Comicsgate, we're Iron Age, we're just making comics. It's comics are a dying medium, but they're not dead, and they'll never die fully. So it's like, who do you hit at that point? Like, and Odin's they're trying to tap into the metal scene. Fantastic idea. I know a lot of metalheads that are art fans, but are they comic fans? That's the thing.
Right. Yeah, and that's the hard thing is like we're combining 2 things. It might be a bit too high-minded for some. It might be too expensive for some. So, and we were just trying to rethink strategies and stuff. We also have so Sebastian's in Germany,
really,
which is awesome. So we're like in 3 countries actually, but we were thinking Europe is actually a very metal friendly continent.
Oh, dude,
and so we might have a better in there as well if we could tap into.
Look at Rammstein, dude. Rammsteiners like gods in Germany. Like you can't.
Oh yeah,
like they're worshipped. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing too because they're some of the most vulgar weirdos you'll ever see.
I'm kind of big on
lyrics. In concert, man.
Yeah, see, I'm big on lyrics, and I don't speak German, so it's kind of tough. But yeah.
Well, if you see them in concert, at least when I saw them, they had a lot of penis in the concert.
Dude, they don't care. That's metal is all get out.
They don't.
Like, I think I saw a Rammstein video during Ballers, and I was like, "What the heck is this?"
Yeah, they're wild weirdos, but they're like Backstreet Boys in fucking Germany.
Yeah,
that's funny. Henry Bemis says biggest metal festivals are in Europe, which he's
for sure.
But not only that, comics are huge in Europe. Like,
yeah, I think
they are
like their entertainment better.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about the Western world, and
did I
cut out again?
No, that was me.
No,
I was laughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just don't know what it is. Like I get like not everybody's into the same thing, but did gaming really take over and America so much that it's like that's all that there is? If you don't have a game out, you're kind of screwed. Like, is that what even beats out the movie stream?
Wait, what beats out the movie stream?
Gaming.
Okay.
Gaming. Well, I think just in general, like I knew a lot of back when I was playing metal, I knew a lot of people in Europe, specifically in Germany, actually, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like even local shows, people just show up, man. Like people actually go to shows, and it's like pulling teeth in the States to get people to go to local shows, let alone even big national acts don't do as well here. They don't draw the crowds that they do in Europe.
Also, the ticket prices that's another story here, but.
And that might be it too. Well, maybe our prices are just so outlandish for entertainment itself. Like,
yeah,
it could be. I don't know. At this time, with the economy, everything seems a little extra expensive and a little more of a luxury.
Like, I know there's
we just spend less.
I know there's some creators who are looking to put their comics in different languages, like get them lettered and translated into like other languages and ship them out over there. And that's a great idea. I don't know really how to go about marketing that or doing that. It's like, how do I market them to people in France? Like, yeah, there's comics in French. By the way, I'm speaking English right now, so you can't understand me anyway. So it's like,
well, the absolute, the one you're doing coming out is no word.
Well, yeah, that's for everybody. You know, anybody can pick that one up. That's the future silent comic books.
There you go.
Well, and there's a lot you can do with that as long as you can tell the story. But
yeah, like you could do a rock album with that too, Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do an album with that because it's silent. So,
well, but still, like you got to make, like Odin's saying, you got to make sure the storytelling's right, and I hope I did it right. You know, it's not an easy.
Good point.
Yeah, so we were actually planning to do that with future things, especially because we are in Germany as well. You know, definitely getting that one translated for that simple fact. Now with this project, the comic could be translated, but I wouldn't translate the music. But I think the Europeans kind of like the novelty of an American thing to a certain extent. So,
well, like I said, I don't speak German, but I still do like, dude, I like El Nino. El Nino's first album, it's Spanglish. So there's some English parts, but there's a lot of Spanish in it. I don't speak Spanish, but I could kind of still like, this is awesome. So you know, you can enjoy, music is very universal.
Michael says the concert club circuit, i.e. the scene, has been decimated for years since the 80s and clubs started shuttering. But yeah.
Well, I mean, things come and go in waves, like obviously. And like the 90s kind of came back for a while, like at least music wise and stuff like that. And I think the same is kind of it will happen with comics, maybe. Like there might be comics might be big again because of those things cycling. Music, I mean, like concerts, there's still people, they have a big following. It just depends on what genre you like. K-pop is insanely huge right now. So,
well, that's true. We were able to get lots of people to local shows, but it took building that hype and kind of like it took a while to get to where we were getting lots of people at local shows. But once you got the buzz, then everything starts snowballing after that. And so you hope for that with crowdfunding, with comic books, with all this stuff.
Well, and then there's also that thing to be said about the underground scene. Like I listen to plenty, like El Creepo, Dog Fashion Disco, Polka Dot Cadaver, huge in the underground scene, very big. They're international, but they're not known amongst the laymen, and it's just because, but they're still insanely good. So there's something to be said about that cult following, that underground following. There's a respect there. You know what I mean? It's like those people really love that stuff, and it's I kind of would almost. I would be totally fine with that because you have people that love it rather than just be like, it's just like a casual hobby, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you get more hardcore fans that way. And there's also a connection because it's more niche and they're really invested.
Speaking of great things.
Hey,
there he is.
Hey, Skunk.
What's going on, man?
Sorry for being so late, man.
Yeah, that was a great show, everybody. Thanks for sticking around.
Oh my goodness.
Nah, man, you're fine.
Sorry.
No worries.
It was actually my uncle's birthday, and I had to go there, and it took me a while to get back home, and but
no. Hey, well, Odin and Angela, everybody even in chat knows I'm a family first kind of guy. So, you know, you only have, everybody's only alive for so long. So enjoy that time that you can with them. So it's great. And it's a birthday. Absolutely. So it's not, it's even more fun. So that's great.
Anyway, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It's your first time on the show. Odin's been here before, so he could just shut up. My internet is being crap, though. So I'm going to probably end up freezing from time to time. Laugh at me, throw popcorn at me. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, so we're learning to carry on with the conversation, even though he looks like, he's.
We're learning to say, can you say that all over again?
Yeah, I'm saying
that. You say every single word you said, but really fast, so you get it in.
Yes.
So what's going on, man? So how's things overseas? How are you doing?
Well, as you can see behind me, there's a bunch of boxes. I'm in the middle of moving to a new house, So
are you moving in with Odin? He just moved in.
I was gonna say, are you coming across the water?
That would be awesome, but no.
Yeah, my studio looks like an absolute hellhole right now, but you know.
So
it's
all
building towards something, so that's a
well.
good thing.
Are you kind of on a drawing hiatus then? If your studio is such chaotic, or are you purposely packing that last so you can?
No, actually, I'm packing this first. I know, stupid decision, but I do have my reasons for that. It's complicated, but I do have my reasons for that.
Hey, we got a half hour. You can.
Yeah, let us know.
You know, time. I do have a bit of a problem with timing. You know, I'm moving 2 days after Christmas, and
oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Bless you.
You know, both my kids have their birthday immediately before Christmas, so it's a busy time right now.
Yeah, I'm a Christmas baby also. Not the day, but near enough. So I kind of know how that goes. Yeah, but that's cool, man. Congratulations on the new house. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
you're welcome, man.
And just to make a point real quick about, because we circle back to that Kill Them Dead and why we're taking another step.
No, we're done with that.
All three of us went through so much change, like in the midst of this campaign, because I moved halfway across the country to a new city, a new job, new everything, new house now. Sebastian's getting ready to move. James started a new job shortly after right before we launched, and it was just a lot of chaos in our own personal lives in the moment.
And he's moving.
We're all hoping to be a little more settled.
Well, I can speak from experience with the frog campaign.
What's up, Amanda?
Hey, Amanda, what's going on?
She wants us to start all over, so she just got here. So
all right,
hold
on.
All the pauses. You got to do all the pauses, Jason.
Well, I gotta
explain everything all over again.
All right. Hold on. Where is it? All right. Long day, lady low. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that.
I would have rolled with it, man. Like,
good stuff. Over. Yeah, move me. Okay.
All for you, Amanda.
Excellent.
Yeah.
No, I can speak from experience with Frog anyway. Like, the moment anything in life happens that's detrimental, that takes time, it really hits the campaign. Like, so moving, new jobs, anything that'll delay, like you getting in front of an audience in some way to promote or even work on it. It like, we only have so much time to work on these things, like maybe 5 hours at most at night. So, like, even if that gets taken away, you're behind an insane amount. So, I mean, it's still great you guys are moving, new jobs. That's great to hear. But it kind of suffers with the other thing that you're doing, which is the book, Kill Them Dead. And so, Skunk, how did you get attached to the project? And I'm going to call you Skunk because I don't call anybody by their real names unless I know you as such. So,
and you do not look like a skunk, just for the record. I just wanted to put that up.
Skunks are cool, man. Come on. So
it's a cool name, but he doesn't.
Come on, man. Come on, man. How did you get attached to the project? How did you get onto this? Because Kill 'Em Dead is still going to be coming out. So let's talk about how you got attached to everything.
I think what happened is this. I think Odin first, and then James both wanted me to do covers for their book. No, not a cover. It was a print for Shove, and a cover for Inglorious Bastards. Magnificent Bastards 2.
Inglorious Bastards.
And they both seem to kind of like what I do, and they first asked me if I wanted to be part of the project, and then if I wanted to be part of the company later on. That's basically what happened. Simultaneously, I was a backer of Odin's book, so I did like his work as well.
Unconditional Shove.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and and I didn't know James at that point, but I later found out that he was kind of a genius. And so I was happy to sign on to the whole thing.
Nice, nice. Now, and when you work, do you prefer to get like a pencil layout first from someone else, or do you prefer to you like to just do your like the whole thing you because you have your style's amazing, like your work's awesome. So like, tell us like is it traditional? Do you like digital at all? Like what are some of your skill sets?
Yeah, well, first of all, I do prefer usually I do prefer inking my own stuff and painting up my own stuff, but this is the first time I'm working over somebody else's pencils, and this is kind of a helpful experience, I have to say, because it improves your work. It actually does improve your work because you have to get into the state of mind of somebody else and try to understand what they were thinking when they drew it. And this is actually a very helpful experience. But most of the time, I do everything myself. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, and whenever you're inking over somebody, like it's not a usual thing that you do. Do you tend to? Do they not mind that you maybe put in your own flair, your own little style? Because every artist has their own voice, their own style. Do you like to put in your own little zing on things?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Odin could probably tell you. I'm not sure what he thinks about what I do with his inks.
What do you think, Odin? Tell us how much he ruins it.
Oh well,
how much does he destroy your artwork?
Having an intervention right now.
Yeah. If I don't like it, I tell him to do it all over again and try again. No. Well, for one, he was doing basically like we were saying, hired pencilists, people who weren't as invested in the project. So they didn't care. They got their money. They did the page, and then Sebastian, he would just go to town and do his own and really make it his own. And I loved it because that was the whole reason we asked him to be a part of this was, his art's really, really good. So we're going to see what it's like when I hand him a penciled page and he goes all full in. I'm sure I'm going to love it though, because I've never seen a piece of art from Skunk that I didn't enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
And I really like the idea of like, when I did Shove, I'd never had anybody color my stuff before, and I had Damir Rosic do the coloring on Shove, and it was really exciting just to get somebody else's ad on top of what you were already doing. But with Sebastian, it's like he really is going to take it over and make it his, which I really want. So
that would actually be hard for me. Having somebody else color my stuff, I really could not. I could not live with this.
I could see that.
This would be hard for me. Yeah.
If somebody else colored your work.
Yeah.
So like even like I mean he's one of the best in indie scene. Even like somebody like Ink Spots. Like I don't know if you've seen
Ink Spots is incredibly good, but
yeah,
it's just. I'm just
he destroy your work is what you're saying. I get it. He does it to me every time. But
yeah, you know the pain.
I know the pain.
I'm just saying. I'm just such a control freak. I just want to do everything myself if I can. I don't know why that is, but this is just even if it's somebody who's obviously better than me, I didn't even want to, I wouldn't.
I appreciate how you said that you learn from them. I never heard that before. I thought that was kind of cool. That to me, that's very humbling, or it's humility for you to be willing to like take, learn something.
I would say conversely, it's the same, and I bet Jason could agree. Like handing somebody else something to add their portion to it, puts a little more pressure on you to make it good. Like when I was making Shove, I'm like, this is just my name on this. Like I could do whatever I want. It's just my name, but now I'm adding other people's names.
Well, and not only that, you get to learn the dance. You're like if you draw like the entire page, everything, background, foreground, everything, and you good. You're like, I could cut back. Like, did I? Okay, but if they're like only inking as much, like less than what you're drawing, you're like, I could cut back. I could cut corners here because they're going to improve it, or they're going to do that. Like it's a little dance, and once you get used, that's why it's nice to work with the same people over and over and over again. So yeah. It's a little dance. It's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I think we're Sebastian and I are going to get like a real good familiarity because we got a lot of pages still yet to do, and this first one, I'm like, I got to make this big impression. I got to like lay everything out perfectly. But as we roll along, I'll know what's needed, what's not. We'll get a really good working relationship. But
you guys
right
ever
now,
think
it's
about
the first
maybe
time,
maybe flipping it a couple times here or there, where he draws something and you ink it?
I would ink Sebastian draw any day, but I would still have him color it because I don't color it. I do ink, but
yeah, but I'm just saying, like as far as the
so it'd be like pencil, ink, color.
Sounds like he wouldn't mind coloring it. So anyway,
yeah,
no,
he would like
to
to
do that. No, what medias do you like? Do you prefer to do like what you work in, Skunk? Do you like
I
ink?
use
What kind of paints? Like what?
Yeah. I use traditional media. I usually do a sketch in pencils, and then I ink over it. Then I usually use acrylics. A couple of layers of transparent acrylics to create an underpainting, a tonal underpainting, and then I use opaque paints to pick out highlights and midtones. And for black and white pieces, it's usually just inks and acrylics, and for full color pieces, I often use oils because it's just incredibly easy to paint with oil paints. Yeah.
In case nobody knows, Skunk actually won the Lucent art contest.
I was say that,
yeah.
And I love
Great
that.
job.
So don't tell
Thank
Dean, but I really love. Yeah, what you did.
You mean you really loved
Dean's
Hockeys?
piece was awesome as well.
You loved Hockeys, is what you meant.
Dean's was awesome. Hockey's was awesome.
Hockey was the one with the parallel touching.
Yeah.
Hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was like an album cover.
Yeah.
There's something about me that just said like.
I watched him work on that for quite a while.
Yeah. All, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he actually was initially drawing that for fun, and we're like, dude, enter it. So he finished it and did. But anyway, this show isn't about you, Hockey.
If you're listening, hi, Hockey.
Well, and I love Hockey. I watched him draw that through the whole, well, not the whole process, but quite a bit of it, just on streams and stuff. But I was like, I gotta be Team Skunk here. Luckily, when he did the voting on the poll, you could pick 3. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, that was hard.
Funny thing was, Hockey was Team Skunk as well. So.
Well, yeah, obviously, a lot of people were. So
a lot of people were, and rightfully so. Dude, beautiful piece. You killed it. Do you ever do digital? Do you ever work in digital?
When I started getting, I used to draw a lot as a kid, and then I completely stopped as a teenager, and I just got back into drawing and painting as an adult. And first, when I got back into drawing. I tried digital. This was actually what I first tried to do. I used Autodesk Sketchbook.
Oh yeah, I like Sketchbook.
Yeah, I like Sketchbook as well, and I still use it to do layouts and stuff like that because you can tweak around with the images. You can distort images and move it around and all that. But I just can't draw digitally. I just can't. It feels completely wrong to me. And I know there are people who are incredibly good at this, and I highly respect them, but it's just not for me. I'm unable to do this shit. I hate painting on glass. This feels so wrong.
That's what I was gonna say. There is a slight disconnect. And it's a weird thing. If you're an artist, if you're not an artist, you probably won't understand. But like I even tried explaining this to people like at the site center that I went to help me do things better with my vision. But I'm like, pen and paper, there's some kind of symbiotic relationship there that you can't get digital. It's the weirdest thing. You can produce the same results. You can mimic it as much as possible. But when you get to those real nitty gritty, physical, tangible things, you could touch and feel the ink, even spread it, smear it, like you could, or paint, and you have to wait for it to dry. You work with the product, and there's just something about more of you goes into that piece than a digital piece. And I work digital too, so
paint, I like to feel the textures of the paint. This is cool.
Yeah, and I know Odin works traditional, like but here's the thing: I also say, if you're great traditionally, once you learn like how to use the tools, your work is far superior digitally than other digital artists usually, because you already know the steps to take, like layering. You know all layering. You know all about it. You know how to like go ahead and blending and stuff like that. So you already have the mindset there. You don't have to learn anything anymore. So your skill set is more honed in if you touch a digital once you learn like the program. So, but there's no feeling than like getting dirty though. No feeling like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
Well,
and even just seeing ink kind of bleed on a paper. But there is a tactile sense, like when you feel it and you feel the difference in pressure. Because I did work digitally as well for several years, and I got to where I was competent at it. You know, it was different, but I did that for like 3 years straight, where I really didn't pick up a piece of paper. I just did digital, and then after that, I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna get a piece of paper and go back. And then I never looked back. I was like, it's so much better. It feels right. You know, that's the only way I can put it. It feels right.
It feels right.
Very often I use a what do you call it, a brayer to apply thick transparent acrylic paints onto the page, and there's nothing that can give me the feeling of creating this weird texture that the brayer creates digitally. That's not possible. This is just I don't know. It's weird.
To see more of these guys' works, I do have their Twitter in the description below. Please click it, follow them. Amazing artists, amazing talent. I love both of their artworks. I'm a fan, not just like somebody's here trying to shill them. I also enjoy their company.
Well,
this is my first time at Skunk, but still. So
he's also a really good artist as well.
I have my moments. I'm better than Ink Spots, that's for sure.
Hey, you got the stuff you do is kind of do you know Nate Van Dyke?
No.
The illustrator? Your stuff reminds me very much of him. You're like a mixture between Sienkiewicz and Nate Van Dyke. You should check him out. You're gonna like him, I think.
I'm gonna actually
your name to me.
Nate Van Dyke.
Because I've always saw the Sienkiewicz just with the wild frenetic way you're very free with your inks and stuff.
All right, I'll put that in Google. That way I won't forget, because I will forget, dude. Dude, thank you so much. I mean, my influences are very noticeable sometimes, and there's plenty of influences I have that aren't, like Walter Simonson, Kirby, stuff like that.
Right.
But and this gets me into that. What kind of comics are you into, dude? Because you're drawing comics. Are you even into comics? Do you even like them? Like, there's some people who don't even like. Oh, I like movies. So, like, what's your bag, man?
Well, I was very much into comics when I was a kid, and just with the drawing stuff, I just stopped as a teenager and got back into it as an adult, But I was always drawn to the books that had cool visuals. Like I wasn't as a kid, I was not at all into stories. I didn't care about that at all. Like today I do, but back then I did not. And I was like, I wanted all the guys who had a style that stood out. Like I liked Kelly Jones because he stood out. I liked
stole my heart right there.
Simon Bisley because they stood out.
Simon Bisley,
Mike Mignola because he stood out.
You're naming some heavy hitters that I love, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. All the good ones.
Sienkiewicz, the same. Yeah. And I think I was basically very much influenced by all the British comic artists who did this painted style, like Bisley, like Bolton, like Glenn Fabry, Simon Davis, all these guys. Those are the ones who really, really influenced me heavily. And those are still my favorites to this day.
I will say, like, living where you live, like, because there's an American influence in a lot of countries, but you also got the European influence on top of it, which a lot of Americans shy away from. Like, we just, not on purpose, it's not there. If it was in the comic shops, I probably would have picked it up. It was never there. So I think you find it, and I think it's a yes, but do you find that you kind of have a little bit of an artistic advantage in that regard, where you're more exposed to a wider variety of, like, just amazing talent than we are? Because I don't know a lot of the names that you said because they're from the UK or they're from Europe, and I'm just like,
Well, they're all awesome. You should Google them. But yeah,
I'll go back and rewatch the stream. And
you
and
might
type
be
them
right there. The whole comic scene in Europe is, I guess, a bit different from that in the US, because I grew up with comic books not only from the US but also from the US, and also from all European countries, plus from Japan. You know, so I was surrounded by this, by this weird mixture of styles, and that definitely influenced me. Yeah.
And you
You know,
said you kind of
we
got
get
back.
some in the US.
We get some.
Oh, I was just saying we get some in the US, but it's because we know Bisley.
Yeah. Well, we get some of those, like, people that just happen to seep over,
Bolden.
you know, into that field. Like, he mentioned some names that you know, that I knew, but he mentioned a few that I'd never heard of before. And I will go back and rewatch this, you know, by Googling them. But oh, pardon me. I forgot what I was going to say, but it's fine. This is a fun show. So yeah, but
I derailed you, so
it's fine. I'll just leave. I'm roboting anyway. You can run it. But
no, you've actually been really good.
No, that's what it was. So you said you just
yeah.
started working on artwork recently again, right? Like, how long ago was recent as an adult? Was it like 20 years ago? Was it 5 years ago? Because you're really good.
It was like, let me see, I think 7 years ago.
I quit.
Something like that.
I quit, dude. 7 years? You only been back at it 7 years?
I think it was 7 or 8 years.
I'm doing this for like 35.
He was a phenom before, though. Let's not.
There you go. Yeah, he was a savant.
About
yeah,
I don't know. It was one of those occasions. You know, my wife, who took me to a one of those craft stores, you know, and because she wanted to buy some birthday present or some shit, I don't know, and I was bored as hell. And I was wandering through this craft store, and, you know, in one corner I found sketchbooks and pens and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, she's gonna take a while, and I might as well buy a sketchbook and draw a little bit. You know, I used to do that, and that's how it started. And, you know, I didn't stop from that day on.
Nice. That's cool, man.
The rest is history, as is.
Do you guys know how you two? Odin, do you know how you guys first met? Like, how in this crazy, weird YouTube scene or whatever?
I don't know how, you know, I saw a post of his on Twitter. It was just an image, and I went, this is fucking awesome. Instantly follow this guy. You know, it's great. Saw a few more, and I'm like, it was at the point in Unconditional Shove where I was like, I want something to, like, spice up the campaigns. Some, you know, I didn't want it to be a stretch goal. I just wanted to add something, like, as a thank you to all the backers. I'm like, well, I'll do like a print, you know, just a free print, not a stretch goal. Just everybody who backed gets a free print. Nice. And I'm like, I could hit up an artist that's known, that I know everyone would kind of like ooh and ah over, but that'd be very expensive. But I also wanted somebody who just was very unique and would kind of give it a very unique flair and take. And I was like, oh, that guy Skunk Artworks that I've been following, I'll hit him up and see. So that's how the ball got rolling. I hit him up and said, hey, you know, I'd love it if, but he was already like, because we started following each other. He was retweeting Shove, and I think he mentioned he liked it. So I was like, oh, he also, you know, is interested in the book. So that's a pretty cool thing. So I was like, hey, man, how much for a painting of Vidon the Beholder? He's kind of the narrator of my, you know, of my story. So, and he told me how much, all this kind of stuff, and told me how much if he shipped the original, which I have, and I'm gonna get framed now that I'm in a final location finally. But yeah, and then so that started the ball with that, and then like you said, James hit him up for a cover for Magnificent Bastards 2, which is one of my favorite pieces that he's ever done.
Yeah, mine as well.
Yeah, that one turned out, that was fucking straight up movie poster. That was beautiful.
Nice.
So,
what was?
That's how it all started.
What was your first, like, indie comics, CG, whatever you want to call it? What was your first, like, works as far as that goes?
Like, as in paid work?
Yeah.
Good question. I'm actually not sure. It must have been, the thing is, I started offering my services in this space, like, I don't know, 1.5 years ago or something like that. And most of the things that I did have not yet been released.
So you
because,
maybe cannot even say, or
I'm not quite sure which one was the first. I think the first one that got my first published work that got released was Wolfsbane, this werewolf comic. I did a cover for that. I think that was the first one that got published.
Is that Aaron?
Yeah, that's Aaron. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. But before I got work, I think I won like the 3rd place or something in Vaughn's Terror in the Trenches contest. That's how I got a foot in the door, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I didn't. See?
No?
We learn things here. This is why we do this show. We learn things. It's educational. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do think the thing I did for Odin was one of the first. Probably not the first, but one of the first. And
nice.
At that point, I remember that I was quite happy to do that, because I always tell Odin that I like his drawings so much, because they remind me very much of John Bolton, who is a illustrator from the UK that I absolutely love, and he reminds me very much of that. And I was totally honored to do something for him.
Nice. I was honored to hear that, but I didn't know who he was. I had to look him up, just like you're saying. He was a European artist. I'm like, well, he wasn't an influence, but yeah, that was high praise. I was like, oh, damn, he's really good.
Yeah, but I mean, it also does show like styles do differentiate, and we never heard of these people, but we still look similar in a way, because people like the other people that we like. Right. He mentioned artists I didn't know, but maybe they like Sam Keith, and that's why they draw the way they draw. So,
right.
So it's just kind of this weird amalgam. Like I never, it was decades ago, but I never heard of Wayshack, and when I saw his stuff, I'm like, this guy looks like Sam Keith. So, it's just, it's amazing how the things work out. What's up,
Shelby's in the house.
What's up, Shelby?
In the chat. How's it going, man? Shelby did.
Speaking of great artists.
Yeah, he did a great Samurai Priest drawing.
The David Grohl of CG.
The David Grohl of CG. Yeah, he's gotten flagged for that, but yeah, Skunk, do you have like an yeah, he has. It's funny. Do you have maybe some concepts or ideas for your own IP, your own books, maybe in the future, or do you pretty much prefer to be like a hired gun?
Yeah, well, there are two projects that are in the works. I can't. No, actually.
No, you don't have to say what they are.
Oh, here's what I'm gonna say. There are 3 things that I'm currently working on, but they are all still in the development stage, pretty much. So, but all I'm gonna say is they're both kind of horror projects. And one thing that I'm almost done with is I'm doing a children's book, actually.
Oh, nice.
Illustrated book. Not sure what to do with it yet, but I'm going to try to sell it somehow.
I mean, you're in obviously a totally different country, but Inkspots used to do children's books and stuff like that. So you can always hit him up and ask him some advice.
Inkspots did children's books?
Yeah, that's what. No, y'all laugh. No,
you don't have to be allowed around them to make the books.
True, this checks out. But no, Inkspots loves doing children's books. Like he that's something he wanted. He kind of would. Like if he can't do comics, he would love to do that for a living. So he's really good. No, that's really cool, man. That's awesome. You got a children's books out. Not only that broadens your horizons at that point too. It gets your name out there even more. So does it maybe
a lot of parents around wanting cool shit for their kids?
But anyway, the cool thing that I really appreciate about all 3 of those projects, I'm going to do them all by myself in black and white. So it's all going to be straight black and white artwork, no colors, just the stuff that I, usually do. And so it's going to be very much unlike Kill Them Dead in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that's
Right.
That's
The children's book, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No,
I think all of
but-
them,
and
being
that's
that they're black and white,
because you know how that is. Sometimes you work so hard on a certain project that you really want to do something completely different to get your mind
Yes.
off of this thing, and then after a couple of hours you can go back to the original project with a fresh
Oh yeah, without a
eye.
doubt.
You know,
Yeah.
you sometimes do need
Absolutely.
that. And, yeah.
Well, and dude, that gets me to this is that like sometimes like if you're working on comics, let's just say like that's what you do. Draw like when you're done, just draw whatever, anything you want, like just make it fun and have a good time with it because that frees you up and like it makes what you do in comics even like you love it even more then because you're like this isn't just work, this is fun. And sometimes it is work, it feels like work, but if you keep like you said, it resets the battery, you know, it's like you're like, oh cool, this is fun, you're doing something totally different than what it was.
Yeah.
So and that's good advice, man, and you already ahead of the curve on that one. But that gets us back to Kill 'Em Dead. Going into the future of Kill 'Em Dead, like you guys are going to release it later on, you know, cool, maybe Kickstarter, maybe Funko, maybe back on Indiegogo, who knows? But do you plan on maybe like working on pages off and on? Do you guys, both of you, play like getting a lot as much as you can done? Maybe because you're both, all three of you are invested, like you have a partnership with the book, right? It's not just work for hire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So like you maybe like, are you guys gonna like just push forward, get as much as you can done, even without maybe some funding? That way maybe the book is either done or like 3/4 of the way done. That way when you put it out, you can be like, look, we only have like 7 pages left. You could back this and it's gonna get you quick. Like, do you plan to maybe going that route, or are you gonna like put things on halt for now?
Well, that's absolutely part of the plan of starting over. Basically, was we were hoping like during the time the campaign was live that we would get more done, and it just didn't work out that way. Like I said, the holdups art wise, and not for Skunk's sake, he was waiting for more. But so now we're at that position where we can do that and get more done, so that we are further along. But that's another thing is you know, having this one kind of like, I don't want to say fail, but not reach the funding goal and then refunding, but letting everyone know that we're still going forward with this. Just so you know, we believe in it. We're going to finish it one way or another. We just know it's the time, and you know, we got to be realistic about that. And but yeah, that's without any extra funds. That's everything just on our own and just putting our heads down and getting as much done as we can, but also letting the dust settle from all the craziness in our personal lives. Like I said, all of us moving or starting new jobs and all this shit, all during the launch of the campaign was not ideal. So now we can all get settled. Skunk is going to be moving soon. He can get settled, and then we can really just hit the ground running, you know?
I don't know if Odin mentioned that before I arrived here, but I honestly do believe that Kill 'Em Dead is one of the coolest IPs ever. This is a phenomenally cool book, and it really is. And I'm definitely going to finish it no matter what. This is awesome, and it deserves to be out there.
I agree, and I did announce also that I'll be doing the pencils now, so that's another thing, that the cat was out of the bag. So that,
and even Odin did say how much he loves the project. It's nice to hear how much you are actually, you know, love it and are invested in it, because you know the fans like that genuine response. They like hearing that the people working on the books actually care about the books. You know, it's not just like, oh yeah, I got paid for it, so you know I'm doing the work I got paid for. It's like, look, we're gonna work on this even though we're not getting paid right now. Like, that's time and dedication away from your family, your loved ones, your own life. If you're like have none of that, but let's say you like to go out bar hopping, you can't do that now. So you know, it's they like to hear that it's going to get done no matter what.
What's up, TJ? I didn't say hi earlier. I want to say hi to TJ.
And like I said, everybody, Twitter links are down below for Skunk and Odin. Please click follow them. Great artists, great people. So go ahead.
I want to ask about Unconditional Shove, but I kind of feel like this
we're not here for that. How
prominent.
Dare you?
I know. I never got to the first one, so I want that.
Ask. Odin's
I mean, I don't know. So I mean, in regards to that project, what are you seeing in the future, or what are your ideas on it?
Yeah, so as Sebastian was mentioning, having kind of multiple projects that are different feel, so you can work on one until you kind of get tired of it, and then go to something else and get refreshed. Because as an artist, you're gonna be working on something. That's kind of where Unconditional Shove is for me. I'm still working on it. The thing is, like Unconditional Shove, I get to actually ink. If I was just doing all pencils and then turning them into skunk, eventually that would drive me nuts because I'm not throwing ink down, which would drive me crazy. So I get to do that and scratch that itch by doing shove pages on the side. So that's still in the mix. It's going to take longer, obviously, for Unconditional Shove Volume 2 because I'm taking on the Kill Them Dead penciling duties, but they're both full bore going to be happening. Timing is what it is. We have lives outside of comic books. I wish I didn't. Not. I do love my kids. Like I do love that part of my life, but like a full-time job that takes up so much of my time, it's like it would be nice to just do art all the time. But
yeah, and that actually, like, your points, both of you guys bring up the point of like drawing other things that aren't the main thing. And like people will sometimes see us on draw streams and we're like, yeah, I'm drawing, Spider-Man right now. Like, well, why aren't you drawing Frog G? Why aren't you drawing Shove? It's like, because you need time away. You need like it's only an hour. It's only an hour or two. And yeah, that's an hour or two away from the book, but you can't just, it's like, it's no different than going into work and clocking in and then clocking out. Like you can't, that's why you get lunch breaks, you get smoke breaks, you get these things because you need time away from the project or the thing. Even though it's art, it's still fun. I love drawing Frog G. I love drawing my absolute stuff. I love it. It's a great time, but it's still work, and you have to, restart your brain, work on something totally different, or just draw a doodle. And like that's why, like even Aaron Lepresti, he'll be like, I do cool down doodles. I do cool down sketches before he goes to bed.
Yeah.
But what he calls doodles is kind of
yeah, dude.
Well, they're a little better than
that's a good point. That's why I was like, doodle. Really?
Well, this is the thing.
I did this doodle, and it's like a masterpiece.
It's a math dude.
Well, yeah, it's like my best stuff.
Colors.
Watching Lepresti's a freak because watching him on like Frega's, like what was it, Fragtober, whenever he was just like, it takes him an hour to draw like a full, like that Green Goblin he did. Forget about it. Like we hate you, dude. You're so good.
Check out
like,
Graybeard Wednesdays.
I would love to get Lepresti on here and talk to him. If you're out there and you're not listening to me right now, please come on.
Who's on today at 7 p.m. Eastern?
7 p.m. Eastern. So everybody go watch.
Go check out.
We like Shelly and Aaron.
Aaron and Presti.
Yes.
Well, and the other thing about the stream drawings, if people are like, why aren't you working on your books? It's like, because I'm sitting here chatting and just kind of like, and also sometimes I don't want to reveal what I'm working on, on a stream, but also I get chatty and just kind of like loosey-goosey. I don't want to like have this important page that I'm working on be the thing that I'm working on because I can fuck it up.
I mean, musicians, everyone practice. I consider the doodles and the things you guys do on the side as part of that. So, and it improves your craft. So, more to it.
Well, and everybody has a different, like we were making fun of Lepresti for a doodle. Everybody has their different definition. Like, to me, I consider it a time issue more than anything. Like, anything over like an hour and a half, it's like, or an hour even, like that's an illustration. Like, if I'm fully invested. Yeah, but if it's like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, it's a doodle. It might still look really good. But it's like, this is just sketch. This is just a doodle. I'm just playing. I'm having a good time. So, and I'm having a good time with everything I do. But that's just
really, it goes like, doodle, sketch, finished illustration, like you said. So the doodle is like for me like 5 to 10 minutes. But
it's like quick little exercises or something like that.
Smillian, I'm just about to head to bed, but I will be listening to this till tomorrow morning. Hail.
Oh, well, we're not sticking around too much longer. Thank you so much for coming around. Hit that link and subscribe and follow these cats on Twitter. Links are in the description below. I really appreciate it.
And like you said, like and subscribe, of course.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, do you have a YouTube, Skunk, or you mainly just do the art stuff and leave the YouTube?
I think I do have a YouTube, but I don't use it.
One
video on there, and that's it.
Do you think you might make that a thing in the future? Maybe do some shorts and stuff?
I don't know, man. The problem is, streaming is really not an option for me because most of my audience is asleep when I can stream. So that's really not an option. I was considering making videos, not sure about this though. This requires so much time. You have to go, you have to get into video editing and all this stuff that comes with it. And right now I'm in a phase where I really don't have time for that, because I have I have a regular day job, I have a family, I have commissions to do, and
speaking from experience,
your
man,
YouTube
like,
would do absolutely gangbusters if you.
It would do gangbusters, and it would.
Shorts.
No, yeah, it would do gangbusters, but you're not wrong. Speaking to somebody with experience on doing the videos, like even a half-hour sketch, because I draw all the time, so I just record the drawing. It takes me maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours to do a half-hour sketch, because I gotta edit, I gotta voiceover, I gotta do all these other things.
Yeah.
It's that's 2 hours out of your day, like, that you're not planning. Like you said, you have a family, you have a job, you have all these other things. I'm fortunate I have a job. Like, I have family, but I don't. You know what I mean? I don't have any tiny humans that I have to worry about. So
right.
it's I don't have a wife or anything. What?
How long does it take you to complete a short?
Like maybe a half hour.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
Maybe
that's actually not that bad.
Well, I only say that because, like, I'll record it. Like, the shorts that I did anyway, I don't really do much anymore. I'll do a short of a sketch card, and I'll record it with my phone, and then I do the time. I speed it up in a program, so it can take me anywhere from 15 minutes to 20 to do the sketch, and then to upload it, it's real quick. You hashtag everything. Maybe I'll put a song on it, but they're not as long. They don't take as much time. But you grow your channel with shorts, but more people will interact with videos and live streams. And live streams are the YouTube. It's a whole thing. There's a whole algorithm thing. It's annoying to get into. The chat doesn't really care about the YouTube algorithm. You know what I mean? So Skunk's not wrong. Like yes, his channel would blow up and do gangbusters if he put up his artwork, but that's time. It's a lot of time.
And TJ says that U.S. Brits are awake, Skunk. Us.
Well,
sorry,
US
U.S.
Brits.
Brits.
Well, that's the other
thing.
US Brits, maybe.
You're a Brit, and you're up.
I'm awake as well, obviously, but it's it's past midnight for me, and
and that's what I was getting. Like, I know Hyper Wizard, he streams and he does live things, and sometimes he's on, but he's UK, so I can hardly get him on, and I like hanging out with Hyper Wizard, so but I can hardly get him on my channel because I'm usually streaming at 9 o'clock at night when everybody is asleep in the UK. Chubbs, Carl Stefan, Merry Boys. Huge fan. The dude's awesome. I've had him. I've hung out with him a few times. Love the guy. I can never hang out with him because he's in the UK. He's always asleep whenever I'm streaming. So
other side of the world.
Yeah. So it does kind of suck, but we're here now, so that's great. I know it's still late for you, but
I can't do this on a regular basis. It's just what I'm saying. I can do this
exactly.
from time to time, but
Well, and that's the other thing. That's why, like a lot of the backers for all these projects, a lot of them are in America, but you have an American as doing pencils or edits or writing, so you can actually still get your book promoted over here a lot in that regard and be okay. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to worry as much about it, which is nice. You know. It is nice to meet the fans and to talk to everybody, and it's not like you're totally disappeared. So you're able to be on sometimes, and I appreciate you coming on, man. I mean, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah.
He is a real person.
He's a real human being. He's a real boy.
He's like a human and not a skunk. Someone asked earlier, how did you get that name? Why are you called Skunk?
It's a name from back in the days, from the graffiti days.
Oh.
There you go. Yeah, Skunk Spray. You spray.
Tag name.
There you go. That makes sense.
Yeah, and we went a little longer today because I wanted to make sure.
And he's gone.
And the show's over.
The show's over. And show's over. Yeah, so I'm glad. I wanted to know about your process and stuff and what you use, and that's the stuff I like. I like getting into that nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't even get into the fact if Odin's house is haunted or not, or if
the behind the scenes things that go into it.
We never talked about house hauntings, Jason. I'm a little bummed out.
Every new house is haunted. Like I said, it's just a matter of whether
that's
they're
like
nice
another hour.
I know.
Oh yeah, let's go into that bag of
Sorry.
worms some other time. Can of worms.
Yes, another time.
Another time. if I make it that
yeah,
long.
Lepresti's going live in a half hour. We don't want to stream over him.
That's true.
Well, that's true.
Angela, do you have any last questions for our guest or anyone in the chat? Have any questions?
I don't see any other questions here.
Do you have any questions?
I'm all questioned out for the day. I've reached my question quota.
All right, you reached your question. So I have a final question. I already asked Odin. We'll ask him again. But Skunk, if you could work with anyone, writing,
Sorry.
drawing, whatever it may.
If you could work with anyone,
I didn't hear most of the question.
Thank you, Angela.
If you could, if you could work with anyone, anytime, living or dead, who would that be? Did I do that? How was that, Jason?
You mean as in authors, writers?
Artists, writers. Who would you pick?
What? We're so
Did
close.
I answer your question?
Author or artist or whatever, yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Well,
I tried.
You know, like I said, I really enjoy working on my own. So I really wouldn't want to particularly work with any artists. I would like to work with a lot of writers. For example, if I could pick anybody, I would like
living
to
or
do
dead.
something
Yeah.
with Mike Mignola. That would be awesome.
Ooh.
Like, I think you know, the stuff he writes would fit quite nicely with the way I paint things.
Nice.
I could see that.
Odin?
You know, I don't know what I said last time, but this time I'm gonna say I wish like John Carpenter said, "Hey, I want to make a comic book and I want you to draw it." That would be really fun.
Yeah, I don't think you said Carpenter, so
I doubt it, but now that I thought about it, I'm like, I think Carpenter.
Nice.
Jason, I do have a last question as well.
Oh.
On your Twitter, I saw that you seem to use quills. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm just recently I've started getting into inking with quills, and I was wondering if you have any advice on which nibs to use and so on and so forth, because I'm absolutely new, and the range of choices that you have is just overwhelming when it comes to nibs.
No, dude, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's called a Hunt 102 or a mapping nib.
I got a Hunt 102.
That's what I really like, mainly because I can get a good thickness if I apply enough pressure, and I can get my insanely thin crosshatch lines with them too. I tend to be heavy-handed and I break a lot of them, but yeah, I like the 102. There's also deleter nibs or manga nibs. Those are fine. They're okay. I know Dan Fraga uses a 104. I can never get that thing to work. I don't know how he does it, but he likes the 104. So those are the three right there that you can look into, and like the manga ones, you can get a variation line, but I find the 102 gets you a thinner line than what the manga one does. So that's why I prefer to use it. And I also use them with different things, like the bleed proof white that you wanted. I'll use the manga nib because it's a little thicker, so I could get more of that white in there, and I could just because that dries so fast. But with black inking, yeah, I use the 102. So.
Okay.
You'll have a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah. So, thank you everybody for coming out. Please hit that like and subscribe. Go follow these cats. Links are in the description below for their Twitters or X, whatever you want to call it. I dead name Twitter all day. So,
yeah, we can do that.
And look out for Kill Them Dead. It's going to be re-released. You're going to be able to get it. It'll be fun.
It'll be totally metal.
Yeah,
all the metals.
It's metal. I love metal, so I'm a fan of the metal. Angela, thank you for again. Hail the chat. I'm gonna hit the end button. Have a great one, everybody.
Yeah. Cool. Have a good day.
Long day kill.